Section 29 read with Rule 21, cancellation of registration. What does this section says? What does this rule says? Now, Rule 21 of CGST Rules 2017, Part A. It states that this is the earlier section, earlier rule. No amendment in this screen, in this slide. The registration granted to a person is liable to be cancelled. Is words, read down the words. Liable to be cancelled if a said person, if the said person does not conduct any business. So these four things were already there. No change in these four things. You have already read Rule 21. You must be very well aware of. If you are not aware of, reason why I have given those four things as well in my presentation. This was Rule 21. Now let's look at the amendment which has come. You will be astonished to see that. Siva Sankaranji is writing due to non-filing of returns for 3 months. Let's see, sir. Let's see. Notification number 94, Central Tax dated 22nd December 2020 states that Rule 21 cancellation of registration. It says after clause D. After clause D, what was clause D? These are the four clauses. Reason why I have taken the original clauses also, so that you can understand language of law. It is very important to read the law. So it says after clause D, the following clauses shall be inserted, namely avails input tax credit in violation of the provisions of section 16 of the Act. Sir, matlab section 16 is also very important along with GST 2A. Yes, my dear friend, if you do not comply the provision of section 16 of the Act, your registration will be cancelled. Cancelled directly, liable to cancel. Furnishes the details of output supplies in GSTR 1. This time they have mentioned GSTR 1. No return under section whatever. Form GSTR 1 under section 37 for one or more tax period, which is in excess of the outward supplies declared by him in his valid return under section 39. And now the return under section 39 is GSTR 3B. GSTR 3B. So furnishes the details of outward supply in GSTR 1, which is in excess of the outward supplies. Matlab 3B may if I have shown, let's say 100 rupees outward supplies, GSTR 1 may I have shown 120 outward supplies, my registration is liable to be cancelled as per this rule. And this has to be read with section 29. So please make sure this all is followed, right? Violates the provision of Rule 86B. What is this Rule 86B, sir? Ye bhi to padhaiye. Please explain us. What is Rule 86B? Sir, one by one. Because you need to digest also, right? So professionals are thinking almost 350 plus professionals I can see on my screen. And the best part is they stick to the presentation. They're thinking, what are we studying today, right? So let's open our mind. Let's take a deep dive into the provisions of the law, rules, notification, what is actually happening. We don't even know this is happening. And we are thinking 2A, 2B to aisa reconciliation kar lenge. Your registration is liable to be cancelled. Section 132 imprisonment, section 122 penalty. There are so many sections coming up. Provisions of the law, right? So provision of Rule 86B. Rule 86B for the time being, I'm keeping on hold. We'll discuss Rule 86B in detail. Another. So that was cancellation of registration, suspension of registration. Section 29 read with Rule 21A. Rule 21A. Suspension of registration. That was Rule 21. This is Rule 21A. What does it says? This is the old rule. Again, I have copy pasted the old provision only, because for those who don't know what was the old rule, they should be able to read this, where a registered person has applied for cancellation of registration. So first is, if you have yourself applied for cancellation of registration, that's okay. This is the most important. This is the most important point. Please read it carefully. Where the proper officer has reasons to believe that the registration of a person is liable to be cancelled under section 29 or under Rule 21, which we discussed just now. Linkage ho pa rahi hai, sir? Are you able to link the sections and rules? This is the best part of learning. He may, after affording the said person a reasonable opportunity of being heard, suspend the registration of such person. Suspend the registration of such person with effect from date whatever, right? So this was the most important point which I wanted you people to read. What does suspension of registration mean, sir? What is the difference between cancellation of registration and suspension of registration, right? Third point, a registered person whose registration has been suspended shall not make any taxable supply during the period of suspension. During the period of suspension. So once the suspension is invoked, from that date, you cannot make any taxable supply, right? Now, what does the meaning of taxable, making a taxable supply? So it says making a taxable supply means that the registered person shall not issue a tax invoice. He cannot issue a tax invoice if his registration is suspended for the time being, right? Now, the most important amendment which came in this rule, this was the old rule, 21A, everybody knows. Amarji, kindly share the PPT. Amarji, fir to I have given the PPT only. So let's understand the provision. I'll share the PPT. Don't worry at all. What is the amendment which came? A very important amendment. Please note down. You all will smile after reading this line. I am numb. I am totally numb. In sub-rule 2, the words after affording the said person a reasonable opportunity of being heard shall be omitted. Shall be omitted. I hope you know the meaning of omitted. Sir, reasonable opportunity of being heard ही हटा दी है. कहां से? Sub-rule 2. What is sub-rule 2? I'll go back. Sub-rule 2 says where the proper officer has reasons to believe that the registration of a person is liable to be cancelled, he may, after affording, line ही हटा दी. So no reasonable opportunity of being heard. If the proper officer thinks that there are reasons to believe, he will suspend the registration. Is it against principle of natural justice? Yes. Section 74, opportunity of being heard should be given. Section 75, it clearly says that opportunity of being heard should be given. Right to appeal, section 107. Opportunity of being heard itself is taken back. Right? After sub-rule 2, now another sub-rule has been inserted. Opportunity of being heard taken off, no problem. ठीक है. After sub-rule 2, the following sub-rule shall be inserted. 2A, where a comparison of returns, this was I wanted to mention for ITC, where a comparison of the returns furnished by registered person under section 39 with returns under section 39 means 3B. So 3B is not matching our R1, suspension of registration, right? 3B is not matching with 2A ITC, suspension of registration, right? Or such other analysis, whatever they'll carry out, they will suspend the registration, right? And the said person shall be intimated in form GST REG 31. REG 31 में intimate कर दिया जाएगा सर suspension के लिए. So this amendment came 22nd December 2020. Very important amendment. GSTR 1 is not matching with 3B, suspension of registration. GSTR 1 not matching with 3B IT, GSTR 2A not matching with 3B ITC, suspension of registration. This is the law which is being created. So you all should be aware this kind of stringent provisions are coming in the law, right? Next. Also, they have written a very important thing. What was happening is my registration got suspended. What they wrote, you cannot make a taxable supply, but can I take refund during that period? Can I take refund during that period when my registration is suspended? They are saying a registered person, new amendment, a registered person whose registration has been suspended under sub-rule 2 or sub-rule 2A, they have included this rule also, which was recently introduced, shall not be granted any refund under section 54. Close the loophole, totally close the loophole, right? Please very carefully understand these provisions during the period of suspension of his registration, right? And it says provided that the suspension of registration under this rule may be revoked by the proper officer any time during the pendency. So the proper officer can revoke the suspension of registration, right? So these were the pointers which I wanted to mention. Now we will take a deep dive into input tax credit provisions. Consequences I've already explained. Cancellation of registration, suspension of registration. Why I explained? Because now all the tax professional will listen to me very carefully. All the provisions. Why? Because they know very well what are the consequences, right? So restriction, rule 86B, which I kept on hold, right? Violation of rule 86B. What is rule 86B? It says, in the said rules, after rule 86A, with effect from 1st January 2021, the following rule shall be inserted. Is there any backing of with any section? No. Can you challenge the validity of section rule 86B? Yes, there is no validity. It has no relation with any provisions in the act. There is no section related to this rule. Rule 86B, restrictions on use of amount available in electronic credit ledger. 86B, restriction लगा दी मेरे usage पे सर, मेरे usage पे restriction है. Notwithstanding anything contained in these rules, notwithstanding, The registered person shall not use the amount available in electronic credit ledger. By reading this line, मेरे को एक लाइन याद आ जाती है, आर्टिकल 300A of Constitution of India. Leave the GST Act, Constitution of India, right? I hope you are remembering. ITC is my vested right. ITC is my vested right. We used to say so many times. Shall not use the amount available. मेरे पास amount है, फिर भी मैं use नहीं कर सकता. Shall लगा हुआ है वहां पे. Discharge or to discharge his liability towards output tax in excess of 99% of such tax liability in cases where the value of taxable supplies other than exempt supply and zero rated supply in the month exceeds 50 lakh rupees. समरी बता दीजिए सर, इतना लॉ समझ नहीं आता, बुक्स तो बहुत सारी पढ़ी है. समरी ये है, अगर आपकी वैल्यू ऑफ टैक्सेबल सप्लाई, एग्जेम्प्ट सप्लाई और जीरो रेटेड सप्लाई को हटा के एक मंथ में 50 लाख रुपए से ज्यादा है, तो आप आईटीसी क्रेडिट लेजर से, इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट लेजर से सिर्फ 99% ऑफ द पेमेंट कर पाएंगे. 1% ऑफ द पेमेंट फिर भी आपको कैश में करनी पड़ेगी. यस, दे आर बाउंडिंग अस विदाउट एनी वैलिडिटी ऑफ दिस रूल, राइट? सो कैन यू चैलेंज दिस? यस, यू कैन चैलेंज दिस, राइट? Balaram ji, but government says 86B in line with the 49 subsection 4 of the act. We'll discuss, sir. We'll discuss. अंशु वर्मा जी, जीएसटीआर 3B में आईटीसी 2B फॉलो करना है 2A? अंशु जी, ऐसा क्वेश्चन डायरेक्टली पूछ लेंगे 2B या 2A? रुक जाइए, मजा आना भी शुरू हुआ है. We have just started enjoying, right? But there are some exceptions. They are saying it does not apply in 4 situations. It says if the said person or the proprietor or karta or the MD of any of its two partners have paid more than 1 lakh rupees on income tax. Income tax से linkage करी जा रही है सर. If they have paid more than 1 lakh rupees in income tax under the Income Tax Act in each of the last 2 financial year, तो फिर ये रूल आप पर अप्लाई नहीं होगा. Then this rule will not apply to you, right? Another point, the registered person has received a refund amount of more than 1 lakh rupees in the preceding financial year on account of unutilized input tax credit under clause 1 of subsection 3 of section 54. We'll discuss this provision also. Generally, it is saying that it does not apply rule 86B to 4 people. Who are they? Who have paid income tax of more than 1 lakh rupees, who have received a refund of amount of more than 1 lakh rupees under these 2 clauses. There are 2 clauses in section 54 subsection 3. I will tell you what are those clauses. Last is who have discharged their liability towards output tax through the electronic cash ledger, which is in excess of 1% of the total output tax liability applied cumulatively up to the settlement in the current financial year. सर समझ नहीं आया, समझा दीजिए. इस पूरे साल में cumulatively अगर आपने 1% से ज्यादा अपनी आउटपुट टैक्स लाइबिलिटी कैश में पे करी है, कैश लेजर से पे करी है क्यूमुलेटिवली पूरे साल में, तो रूल 86B आप पर अप्लाई नहीं होता है, जबकि आपकी आउटवर्ड सप्लाईज, टैक्सेबल सप्लाईज 50 लाख से ज्यादा भी हो, नो प्रॉब्लम. सो आई होप दिस रूल इज वेरी मच क्लियर टू ऑल ऑफ यू, राइट? अरविंद जी, एक्सेप्शनल पॉइंट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. यस अरविंद जी, एब्सोल्युटली इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड द लास्ट, गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट पर अप्लाई होना नहीं है सर, PSU पर अप्लाई होना नहीं है, राइट? लोकल अथॉरिटी, स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी, दैट इज ऑब्वियस. Optotax, India's #1 GST platform, all because of your love and support, and it is exclusively free for tax professionals. So please, I would request everybody to use Optotax in their offices to reconcile ITC, to download all the beautiful reports we have, and it is trusted by 50,000 plus tax professionals now, who are serving their 1 million plus clients, right? So please make sure that all of you use Optotax in your offices. It will help you a lot. And what are the benefits? How does Optotax help tax professional making GST compliance simple? Sir, automatic reconciliation of ITC, auto fetching of data from 1st July 2017. So if you start using Optotax from today, then also you will be getting the data from 1st July 2017. This is the beauty of Optotax. Third, if you are using any other software, no problem, sir. You can simultaneously also use Optotax. In just 2 minutes, Optotax fetches all data from the government portal. We have got all the due respective approvals from the government, and all the data is fetched in your system for all your clients. You have 500 clients, 200 clients, single dashboard you will be able to see, right? This is the beauty. I think many of my tax professionals, the tax professionals present in the webinar using Optotax, everybody is saying it is very nice. Thank you so much for your love and support, sir. The full facility, opt-in, opt-out facility, IFF, everything is there in Optotax now. What are the differentiators? Live dashboard, multiple users, no installation required. automatic purchase reconciliation with 2A. What's more, you can view cash and credit ledger, download month-wise 2B, GST challan creation, download. Yes, the best part, I'm making an announcement here. We are making the challan payment also automatic now. It will be integrated to your net banking, whatever net banking you are using, and challan payment also you can do now from Optotax. Very soon we are bringing this feature. It took a lot of time for us to take all the approvals from the banks, but yes, we are bringing that features. Just skipping this all the basic slides because already many people are using, but still if you're not using, please do sign up and support. We focus a lot on support. This is the phone number. If you want to note down, just call this number and he will guide you how to use Optotax. And sign up you can do yourself. It's just a 1-minute task, but please note down this number. You can call on this number. info@optotax.com is our email ID. YouTube pe we have demo videos. You can see the demo videos and then you can use Optotax, but I would suggest everybody to please start using Optotax. This is the software link, https gst.optotax.com, Google Chrome browser. It works in desktop or laptop, right? So amazing facility we have given to you. So even from the technical aspect, we are trying to help you. So please utilize this benefit. Ashish ji, sir, rest all the software companies will run from the market as your Optotax. Ashish ji, our motive is not to make anybody run. Our motive is to serve the tax professional community, to help the tax professional community, make a GST platform, bring all of them together, scratch their brains, learn whatever the provisions are coming up and work also. Let's make simple.
Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to never miss important GST updates.